I'm going to try this real quick because I'm obviously going to be the only voice for happily ever after. So I'll do this real quick and then I'll just submit. I think in our lives, in the course of our earthly pilgrimage, we do sometimes confront new normal after new normal. But ultimately, it's not a new normal, it's joy, 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 joy in the presence of God. And that's why I think that this is, it's really almost a conventional or formulaic way to begin and end the story. And the way I can do this, in addition to Once Upon a Time They Live Happily Ever After, we in our movies, and somebody help me with some examples. I can come with a couple, but I'll be limited. Do you know how often we frame a movie? For example, in The Princess Bride, it opens with the granddad telling the boy the story, and then we go into the story, and then it closes with the granddad saying it was a great story. In The Blind Side, about the football tackle, it opens with the discussion of the importance of left tackles in the NFL, and then closes, and this is the way we love especially, formulaically, conventionally, to close movies, is you get a catch up on what happened to all the characters. 10 years later, this happened here, and this happened that, and we want that. We love that. We want to know what happened to the characters, and we want to frame a story that says, within this framework, this happened, and here's how it all turned out. And I think that's what this is doing. Within the framework of our earthly pilgrimages, you suffer, and there are new normals that we deal with in chapters 3 through 41. But in the end, it's joy, 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 joy. And the ending of the book shows us this precisely because of the ridiculous numbers. It's all exaggerated. Rod, I agree with you in a sense. It's always troubled me. Doesn't he miss his first kids? But I guess I've come to the point of there we're bringing the standards of realistic fiction, where we think, how would we feel? These people are just like us. The standard of fairy tale is you don't worry about what happened to Cinderella's other two sisters. And if you do, you've missed the point of the story. That's the way a fairy tale works. And there's part of me that says the ending of the story is saying, the glory of God. You get a glimpse of it now. You will see it once and for all forever, and there will be joy, joy, joy. Go ahead, Jay. It's better than everybody else. Okay, good. That's an interesting point. And if I'm going to go back and read 42:6 as something's happened to Job so that he changes his mind, then he has to be different in 42 than he was in 2. That's fair. That's true. That's okay. I'm going to go with you on that one.
Sorry, guys. We need to move on.
Go.
If we're going to finish up here on a good note.
I was bringing in the joy. You guys were all, it's a normal thing stink. Yeah, good.
No, I think the Brick Testament shows new normal well. I appreciate Richard's comment on happily ever after and Joe's comment on the ambiguity of the painting. But let's see how the Legos do it here. They're all face down. God's still speaking to them in the whirlwind. Here's the sacrificing the animals. But look, Job's fortunes are getting restored here. And look at the look on his face. He still has that. I don't know if they only had like one Job face for the Lego thing or not. But let's keep going here. He's getting all of his sheep back. Some camels. He still looks mad. Look at that. He gets all of his children back. He's in the background still grumpy.
And they don't look real happy either. I mean, seriously.
Let's see. And then it shows Job getting old. You can't see his face anymore. I bet it's still grumpy, though. And then Job dies old, full of days. It just kind of shows one more way of looking at the book. or a new normal.
Is the
Job
billing
seeking a
address
new
for my
normal.
card just the
You've been
church
very
address?
patient. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Do I have to put that? Is that like a requirement? Okay. Um, yeah. One second.
Mm.
All right. Hold on. What was it? 895.
Remember, the devil's not the devil as we know it. The devil is Hasatan, the accuser, the adversary, an agent of God, working on God's behalf, trying to remember kind of the prosecuting attorney image we said originally. It's kind of like that. Someone trying to show humans for who they really are to God, almost the tester. So it's not the devil as we see it, but it is still a troubling image of what we see in chapter 2 of for no reason. These.
1, 2, 3. Alrighty. Yep, that's all I need. Thanks. Bye.
And see, I think what you're going to is you're really asking it's good to be here at the end of class, you're really asking the question of the whole book of Job.
Yes.
If Job asked, why did this happen to me? And remember we've said, in terms of a discursive answer, God doesn't answer Job. God doesn't have to say, well, you see, if providence required A, B, and C to happen, and for A, B, and C to happen, X, Y, and Z happen. He didn't do that. He says, look at the ostrich.
Yeah.
Look at the horse. But wait, hang on. I think what it's saying is, there will be God all in all, and we get a glimpse of God's glory here and now. And that's enough for us to trust that God will be all in all. And so the question is, you don't get an answer the kind you're looking for, why Satan's there, why Job suffers, but if you see the glory of God, you can go on and trust. Well, I think the initial dialogue in part is the fairy tale stuff. Just like there has to be an accuser. There's got to be some kind of catalyst that starts this whole process.
Mm.
And God wouldn't be the one to start it. Even though, as Jim has reminded us, that Satan is still very much of God's control or part of his court.
I mean, in God's presidential cabinet,
Yeah.
For another example.
Okay. Go ahead. So you cut somebody off. I cut somebody off.
Mm. Mm. Sure.
So we've got a couple things. Now that's interesting. You're leading to one point, and I'm not sure if Jim wants to do that one or someone before it. That's the question of what did Job say that was so right, and his friends say that was so wrong. Do you want to do that, or you want to do the film clip, or where do you want to go?
You go ahead, Richard.
Okay. Well, I think the one question I want you to think about is, remember, God says, "You did not speak of me rightly." He says that to Eliphaz and the other two friends, as my servant Job did, and he says that twice. God does. So one question I think we have to struggle with is, what did Job say right? Now I think the easier question, though still not real easy, is what did the friends say wrong? I think that has to do with, we can know the purposes of God. We can think that if you suffer in this earth, then you've always done something wrong to deserve it. But what did Job say that was right? Because you did not speak rightly of me as my servant Job did. Because remember, 3 through 31, Job said some things at times that were, how would you put that, Karen? Fairly abrupt towards God, fairly confrontational towards God, fairly angry towards God. That's where I want to go. What I just want us to think about, what did Job say that was right? Maybe everything. I don't know. Let's talk about that. Yeah, right. Hmm. Right. Okay, one thing to say might be that what Job said was right was 42:6,
Yes.
or maybe 42:1 through 6.
Mhm.
Okay, good. I mean, this is a real question. I want you to take out your markers and just highlight, what did Job say right? I think that's. Early in 1 and 2, there are some statements, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Okay. Good. Hang on. I know. Okay, so you might want to take your markers back and highlight those as what Job said right. Now, the other thing is, did he start to say things, quote unquote, wrong only when his friends started in on him? Not quite. Remember that the friends sat in silence with him for 7 days. And it's only after he does chapter 3, which is, why did I ever see the light of day? Remember, that's Job's first complaint. Why did the knees of my mother receive me? Why did her breast suckle me? Why wasn't I just left not at all forever? That's what gets the friends talking. And then you're right, that's when Job comes back in terms of the friends and gets angrier and angrier. And part of that is fist shaking at God. Yes. Well, there, now we're ready for the slide. Do it. The Job the. Don't you think? Sure. Okay, no, not really. Well, we asked you this question right at the beginning of the class so many weeks ago. How do you fill in?
What adjective would you give Job? What defining characteristic would you give to Job?
Remember we talked about this great literature. Every character has Hamlet the vacillator, Odysseus the resourceful one, gray-eyed Athena, Job the... Okay, faithful? It seems to me how you put to answer it has a lot to do with how you answer Sam's question.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the wisdom of the book?
Mm.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right. That picks up trust and faithful. Now, are you using what you can't understand? Gets back to Job saying at 42:3, I spoke of what I did not understand. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Don.